Well, it is Tuesday. Can everybody hear me okay? It's looking like we are broadcasting in a proper amount of volume. I see Vineyard Chicks, Big Dreams Homestead, Mario's Vegetable Garden, Never Enough Time, Mama Z. Where to Begin Homestead.
Robin's in here.
Robin? Robin Rear?
Yes.
Robin Rear is in the house. So, thank you all for being here. Special guest tonight. She's going to be talking to you about Canva. This is, and I could be wrong with some of my thought processes on this, but to me, this is of a lot of use for an individual that maybe doesn't have a PC and they're doing everything with their phone, because they can do a lot of this editing online with their phone. And maybe that's not the way to think of it, but I guess that's how I kind of think of it. But it's a pretty powerful online editor. You got a lot of templates, and what she's going to focus on tonight is what can you do with this thing and not spend any money, because everybody wants to save $1. If for saving dollars, you can just send what you saved to us. We would appreciate it. Nobody's looking at me. All right. Okay, so let me hang on here just a second. Let me make a slight adjustment. Okay. And so for everybody waiting, here is Crystal.
What's up, everybody? Is it just me, or is it me and you?
No, you got 16.
16 in here.
Well, I meant on the screen. I wasn't sure if we were both on the
Just
screen
you.
or not.
No, I'm not. It's
You're
just
by yourself.
you are by yourself.
By myself.
You are the star. You are the star of the show.
Welcome. Well, technically, Donald is sitting next to me on the side, just kind of hanging out, but yes.
Hey, Donald.
So yeah, we basically do these tutorials to help people that are interested in kind of upping their graphical game, but maybe they can't. It's not that they can't afford Photoshop, because Photoshop is very affordable. I don't want people to think that that's not an option, but Canva, in my opinion, has easier tools for people, especially that are beginners. So I show most of what I do in these tutorials on the free version, which does give you a lot of options. The pro version obviously gives you more options and more fun stuff to do, but this is still a usable format. So I see people in the chat. Is there anybody that has any requests on what they would like to see done in Canva, whether it's thumbnails for your videos, whether it's logos, social media graphic creation, stuff like that? I can show in both the freeware version and the paid version. I have the paid version because I use it a lot for my business. But, oh, and I see my husband's in the chat too. Hopefully he can behave.
Why start now?
Why start now?
Should you give him some power?
Do we want to?
Is he allowed to have power?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, they're talking about giving Donald power.
Uh-oh.
There we go. You're it now, Donald.
You have power. Donald has the power. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And again, this is the freeware version of Canva. And this is going to hopefully show you the basics of what you would need to know about the freeware version. I do have the other version. I can show some examples of things that you can do as well. Paying attention to the chat as much as I can. So if you do have questions, feel free to ask them, and I'll see if I can show you within Canva.
Crystal.
Yes.
Before you start, what all other social media platforms is this good for?
is good for a lot of them. As a matter of fact, I can go over some of them here.
Well,
So-
I was going to say, just quickly tell the differences if somebody's saying, well, I can do a YouTube thumbnail, but that's different than something I want to display on Facebook, for example.
Right.
So
it creates all the different sizes for different platforms. Like Instagram is more square, whereas Facebook's kind of a rectangle in their typical size suggestion. It has all of the sizes embedded for you, but you don't, and it's not even just for social media. You can actually use it to create flyers. You can use it to create business cards. I've used it recently to create a kind of like a PowerPoint presentation. If for some reason you have something you want to display, maybe on one of your own lives, you can show a PowerPoint in Canva. It actually has TikTok now too. So if you want to create some like end frames for your TikToks, if you want to do a TikTok background, it has the ability to do that now. Pretty much every platform that is considered a major platform. So it's not going to have things like for Parlor yet, I don't think. No, nothing for Parlor yet. You just basically do a search in the search functionality here at the top to see what type of dimensions or things that it provides for the social network. So if I type in Insta, it can do Instagram posts, it can do stories. If you want themed Instagram, like for autumn or stories or the Chinese New Year, I know we recently had that. It has themes that you can use or templates as like a basis, and you can modify for your own, I guess, graphics. So let me see what else we got for Twitter. So Twitter, you could do ads, your header, your post, and then it starts getting into your themes. Like if you wanted to do a quote on Twitter, it gives you some templates to work with to start. Something like this. You change the colors, the photo, the font, and it still looks like it's professional. I mean, that's one of the things I like about Canva. There's so many free templates available, and even more so on the paid version, that you don't have to really have graphic design skills as long as you know how to edit. So if you know how to click on this text here, double click and change the text, and then download it, then it looks like you have a professional graphic. So that's one of the things I like about it also. But I know that we've gone over in the past through some of the examples that we have here. We've done how to create your YouTube banner. We've done YouTube thumbnails. We've done social media graphics. We've done a logo creation. We've done the end screens. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we would need to cover, or we could simply go over making some social media icons or graphics or another thumbnail for YouTube or something like that.
let me just throw in here. I think thumbnail would absolutely be excellent. And maybe if you want to spend a little bit of time on a banner as well.
Where
Sure.
to begin? Homestead just said I had no clue that Canva did the dimensions for you.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really like about Canva is because Facebook, they change their dimensions fairly frequently every time they roll out like a new layout. And it's frustrating for people because they'll have a cover photo set to one certain dimension that fits perfect, and then they got to redo it. Well, Canva keeps up with all of that. So you just redo it, change the sizes. Even if you have it wrong, I'll show as an example. If, let's say I did this thumbnail, and maybe at some point in time, YouTube decides to change the dimensions, you can just resize it. Now, this is a pro feature, but you do have the ability to resize your photos. And again, you can try Canva free for 30 days. So it's not like you can never use the pro features. You would just have to close your account or cancel the upgrade after 30 days. And you get to use all of the cool pro features if you wanted to try it out. But again, you can resize these with the pro version if you have something perfect. Like, look at Donald's face. And I mean, that's just perfect. And then you decide you need it for another dimension. Or maybe you want to recreate this graphic as a cover photo on your page. You can just resize it. But yeah, let's go ahead and we'll create a YouTube thumbnail with this. Again, this is the freeware version. There's a lot more functionality on the pro version, but we'll create a thumbnail and then we'll go ahead and play with the banner for YouTube channels as well. So the first thing you do when you log in is you'll see this kind of home screen of here's some different items you could create. It also does some video editing, which I'll show you guys at some point as well. I think we've went over that a little bit. But what I'm going to do is go up to create a design, and I want to create
Crystal,
something for YouTube. Yes.
Where to Begin is asking what's the price after 30 days?
It's $12.95 a month. It is slightly more expensive than Photoshop, but what I like about Canva is it does include a stock photo library, a stock video library, animated and other artwork, animated artwork like clip art that moves, like arrows that bounce around. It includes some basic, all kinds of basic templates. So you're getting more than you would have with just Photoshop, but Photoshop is more powerful in terms of being customizable. The problem with Photoshop versus Canva, and that may be something that I do a different Tech Tuesday on, is doing the exact same graphic in Photoshop that I do in Canva, just to show the difficulty in processes and the time. Canva makes it very quick and easy, whereas Photoshop may be more powerful and a little bit less money per month. It's still not going to be equal depending on who's using it. So,
Crystal, I just did a quick look here. Photoshop is currently $29.99 a month.
is it? I think I have an old version, like not an old version, but I think I have an old subscription. They haven't upped my price.
Yeah, absolutely. But
So
at the end of your offer term, your subscription will be automatically billed at the standard rate, currently $29.99 per month plus tax.
yeah.
So
So this is even cheaper than Photoshop.
Yep.
So then there's that's to consider as well. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do some YouTube thumbnail. So you can see when I hover over these, it shows the dimensions already. Not that you need to know that, but it's good to know that in case for some reason you need to resize something, you know what dimensions to resize it to. So I'm gonna go ahead and select YouTube thumbnail. It gives us a blank template to start with. We can do all kinds of things with this blank template, but if you're not feeling particularly creative or you just want something as a basis for inspiration, you do have all kinds of templates on the left here to choose from. Now I'm going to go over just these quick menu items real quick because they're relevant to what we're going to be doing today. So templates are like your foundation, like they're already created graphics or YouTube thumbnails that you can then edit, change colors, change layout, change pictures. You can do all of that. Uploads are pictures that you have uploaded or videos that you have uploaded. And actually you can do audio now too. So we recently used Canva to create, if anybody's been to our lives recently, we have like this new intro video and we also have an outro video. I did all of that in Canva, including the audio. So that's something that we might go over at another point in time too. And that said, so everything you upload that's yours or that you want to use goes in your uploads section. Photos are all the stock photos that you have the ability to use in all of your artwork. Now, if they have this little pro icon, it looks like a little crown, then you have to pay for those. You can still use them, but they're like $1 a piece or so to pay for them for each individual use, unless you have the pro account, and then you can use them as many times as you want. But there are free. You can see the free when I highlight over this one. So there's plenty of free stock photography as well. Elements is all of the little like graphical pieces or lines or shapes, animations. You can do gradients, some clip art. All of that is stored under elements. Your text, that's basically your wording, and your fonts is all stored under text. There are some that's previously kind of designed. If you want like this neon good vibes type element to your thumbnail, you can certainly add that. Audio is where you can either purchase or use free audio in here. Like this one's free, Video Game Blockbuster. And then video is stock video that you can use. There is free video and paid for video. Background is basically like if you wanted to start out with some sort of colorful background in the back of your thumbnail. These are pre-created like repeating backgrounds or textures that you can use in the back of your thumbnail. Since we are around Valentine's Day, I might go ahead and use this one just to try it out. And then folders, you can actually put all of the things that you upload into folders so they're organized. Like maybe this one's for the farm, maybe this one's for my business, maybe this one's for something personal. So everything can be organized into folders, which is very helpful once you start using it as much as I do and you have like thousands of things uploaded. So having them organized into folders is very beneficial. So going back to templates, I'm going to actually add another page here. You got some icons here to either add notes to the page, duplicate it, or add a new page. I'm going to add a new one because I want to hold on to that Valentine's one in case I want to use it later. But I want to start out with a template just to show how easy it is once you pick a template that you like. So let's say we're doing something for Valentine's and we want to do something that looks, maybe it's a recipe. We'll do one for a recipe because I know a lot of us put out recipe videos like Mama Z and everything. So we're going to start out with this one because it looks kind of cool as a recipe video. So it's got a picture in the background. It's got some decorative elements. You see when I hover over them, they highlight blue. That means I've selected that particular element. So when I hover over the text, the same thing. I can click on those and drag them around anywhere I want. And then you've got this picture in the background. So maybe I want a different picture there. Maybe this is for something with strawberries. That's Donald's favorite. So we're going to do something with strawberries. That's a pro image. So I'm going to avoid that one since I want to do this as free as possible. So let's look at this one because this one looks free. When I select it, it automatically throws it on top of the graphic, but I can drag it anywhere I want. So let's say I want this to be about here, but I want it in the background. Right now, since it's layered on top of everything, I kind of have to move it down below the layers. So I'm going to go up to here to position, and I can select I want it to go to the back. And that puts it behind everything. Now, even while it's back there, though, I can kind of select it and maybe stretch that a little bit so that it's bigger on the screen and I can see the strawberries more, something like that. So then I've got my image in the background replaced, which is very easy. Again, you can move it around if you need to. So I can kind of drag it wherever. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this one behind it real quick, too, because we don't need that one anymore. Oops. That's the one I want to get rid of. Then I'll drag my strawberries back in here. Perfect. Now, there's a lot of green on here that for something Valentine's like, I probably don't want. So this is like a big circle element that's just kind of been drug over the top of things. But you can see there's a little box up here that lets you select the color of the element that you have selected right now. So I have this big circle thing selected, but I don't want it to be the big green. So maybe I actually want to pull one of these reds out of the strawberry graphic. And what I like about it is it tries to grab them for me. So it looks like this red is one of the reds in the strawberry. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one. Yeah, I think that bright pink one or red one will be better. And you'll notice here at the bottom, it gives me the options to change all of that color green to that red. I'm going to do it just to see what it looks like. It might be too much red on the right. Yeah, I don't think that red will stand out much. So I'm going to leave those alone and just do the red on the left here for right now. Now you can see the green text. It looks really ugly on top of that red. So we're going to change that, obviously, to something that stands out better on red, which for this would most likely just be white. So you select your text, and then you hit this little color icon here on the top where it says A, and then it has the color underneath. And then you would pick either a color that you've already used in this graphic, which is nice. You don't have to go back and try to remember a color code, which I like. Or you can go down to some default colors, or if you want to pick a whole new color, you have the option to just kind of drag this around and see what color looks good. So if I wanted to do something maybe pinkish, but maybe like a really light pink, so it's not like, you know, bright and doesn't stand out over the red, but something maybe just slightly pink like that. And maybe I want to reuse that same color. Now it's in my library here of colors that have already been used, so it's easy to just select it now. It matches the exact same pink up here. And then this dark green thing down here, this is an element. It's just like squiggly lines just to make it look a little artistic. You can change the color of that as well. Whoops. I am switching my screen around, sorry. So I'm going to get rid of that dark green for that element down there, and maybe that's something that I want to be pink as well. So that kind of changes up the elements here on the left to kind of stand out a little bit as far as if someone was scrolling through the video displays for a list of playlist videos or something, this would be what they would see. But I'm going to go ahead and change some of these elements on the right too. I mean, I like the green, but at the same time, I don't want the green on this image. So if I were to do something, maybe something with that blue that's on the plate, just to kind of make it match. So I probably won't do the exact blue though. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that blue, but what happens now is I can go to this new color option up here and it shows where that blue is, but maybe I want it to be a lighter blue, maybe like a baby blue. So it's still within that realm of that blue and doesn't like not stand out or whatever, but it's not too overwhelming. So I'm going to do it to this color too. Now that blue is also in my past colors. So I just select it to match the one up top. So now I got my blues and I have to figure out what I want to do with these greens. I kind of like them, but at the same time, now that that blue's changed, they kind of look a little awkward. So let's change the greens to maybe, let's see what they look like with that pink. I don't know, that kind of looks a little weird too. Maybe I could do this off red. That actually might not look too bad. It might blend in a little bit too much with the strawberries, but maybe if I make it so they don't overlayer like that as much, it won't be so bad. So using that template, that was this big bright green chocolate chip cookie recipe, maybe I can do my favorite chocolate covered strawberries. Now you'll notice it's going to cut off the strawberries word here a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this box again, and I'm going to reduce the size of this font because that word's a little bit too long for that size font to fit. There we go. Now it all fits, and we have a brand new thumbnail for chocolate covered strawberries. Now the picture is not chocolate covered strawberries, so I would probably change that out at some point, but just for this example, I think that would be just a very simple way to create a thumbnail for your videos. Now, how you would get it from Canva to download onto your computer so you can use it is pretty simple as well. You just go up to the download button up here on the top right. And then there's all kinds of formats that you can then download. You can do it in a PNG format, which is what I usually use because it's the higher quality of what they provide. You can do a JPEG if you wanted. You can actually download into a PDF as well. You don't need that for YouTube, but if you do create a document or a poster or something like a business card that you need to have printed professionally, you do have the ability to do PDF prints as well. Or if you want something for social media that has a little movement in it to stand out, you can download as an animated GIF as well. So I'm just going to download this one as a PNG. And then I have 2 pages because remember I have that heart one up above. I don't want to download both of them. I just want to download the second one, the one that we actually finished. And then I hit download and it'll download onto my computer. Now it also has the mobile version of the app as well. So you can download these on your phone if you're on the road or something and also use them from your mobile phone as well. And they recently updated their mobile phone app. It gives a lot more options now, which I'm very excited about.
Is there an ability to upload directly to YouTube from Canva?
I'm trying to, there's the ability to publish, but I'm trying to remember. You have the ability to share, you have the ability to present. I think it depends on what you're creating. So let's try, for example, if...
And you may have to have the pro version to do that.
Yeah, let me double check. Because basically, I'm going to do another thumbnail real quick, but I'm going to do it with video in it. So I'm just going to find a quick video of something free. Like this is kind of farmery. I'm going to stretch it out to the width of the video.
Is that in Texas? They're not spinning if it is.
Yeah, they're frozen if they're in Texas right now.
You betcha.
So we'll add some text in the middle, like pray for Texas. I don't know, something. We're going to make this white and we're going to change the font It does have some basic fonts that you can use. You can also upload your own fonts in the pro version, which I do frequently if I find a font I really like. But we are going to stretch this out to be a little bigger. I'm going to center it. You'll see when I'm centering text, you see how I've got these pink crosshairs in the middle. If I've only got one like this, it means it's centered in the vertical line. But if I have to bring it down in order to center it with the horizontal, so now it's got like that perfect center in there. So let me see if it lets me publish. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything for here in the free version. I know you have the ability to publish in the pro version, but I'm not sure if YouTube is part of that. I'm not seeing anything there. So yeah, it doesn't look like you can do it directly to YouTube, but you can certainly download it as a video and it'll play just like this. This is what it'll look like when you download the MP4. So this is also useful. This is actually what I did for our end screen on our channel is I just, when we do our lives, is it's just a video that's on repeat of like an animated graphic and some video and some music. So I was able to do that in Canva without having to mess with like DaVinci or Premiere or something like that. Donald says I'm a font fanatic. It's true. I have over 5,000 fonts sitting on my computer right now. So I don't remember what all of them are, but I do use them frequently. So yes, we've made a basic thumbnail. And you can always go back and go and like redo the thumbnail. Like if you find a layout that you really like if you love this layout for your thumbnails, you can just duplicate it. So you make another version down below and just modify it for your next one. I've done that frequently, especially if I'm at a time crunch and I'm like, well, I've already liked this layout. I'm just going to switch out the pictures and the text and go with it. So, you know, you don't lose it. It's all saved on the cloud too, which I like. That's another benefit of Canva is you don't have to download software. With something like Photoshop or Lightroom, you're literally downloading software onto your computer, and there's not a lot of computers that can handle Photoshop. Like you have to have, like I have a gaming computer, so I have Photoshop, I can do all my video editing on it, but not a lot of people do. So if you have limited resources, Canva's all browser based. I don't have to download anything. It's quick and easy to use. You just need a browser. You can do it in the library. You just log into your account. So that's another really good benefit of Canva is it does not take up any resources at all. All right, so you mentioned doing some channel art, right? So let's go ahead and look at.
Yeah, can we discuss one other thing here first?
Sure.
You have the ability within Canva to upload images of your choice, correct? No matter what size, and then you can alter them within Canva. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. You also have the ability to upload fonts.
Yes.
However, having said all that, there is no checking process within Canva to keep you on the up and up. Should you upload a copyright image? Should you upload a font that is only licensable? You know, that has to be licensed, is not free, and you could find yourself into trouble.
Right. It does ask you when you upload a font if you own the font. So the onus is on you to be kind of honest about it. There are fonts that I've uploaded. Most of the fonts I download, I get from like thefont.com, and they're all free fonts anyway, but I have found fonts that weren't necessarily free before. Which you're not supposed to use for commercial use. So it does ask you if you own the font, but if you tell them yes, even though you don't, then, I mean, that's on you. So yeah, you do still have to remain ethical in your standards with what you use. But I mean, if it's your own photography, then yeah, you can upload any photography, pretty much any size you want and modify it to use in your thumbnails or your channel art.
Okay, two things, Crystal. Can you use this for an animated intro slide?
Yes, I actually did that for our animated intro for our lives. So I can actually show you guys really quick. Let me stop my share. I'm gonna log into my pro account because that's where I stored our stuff.
Yeah.
But let me log into that real quick and I'll show you guys.
And say hi to Tori because she's in her car listening to the show.
Hi, Tori. I know Tori uses Canva. I don't know if you guys saw her recent video on the lemon powder, but she did that thumbnail all in Canva. So I was pleasantly happy with that. All right. So this is my pro account. So there's a lot more features that are going to be available for this, but this is the one I use for my business all the time. I've got thousands upon thousands of designs in here for things that I've done for clients. So what we're going to do real quick is do what was it we were doing? Oh, the video. So yes, the video outro. I wanted to show you guys what we did because Donald and I recently purchased a pro version of StreamYard just to test it out. So you guys may have seen on our, when we're live now, we have this banner up at the top here. I created this entirely in Canva. You upload it to StreamYard. This is what shows over our faces during our lives now. So our faces would be, or our live screen would be where the black is, and then this would hover above us at all times during the live. So it gives us, you know, our names, it's got our logo, it's got where you can find us on social media, our URL. So this was all done in Canva. These are, how did I do this? I think what I did here was I just did a rectangular box. I'm going to duplicate this so I don't have to go back and redo it. So see how this is a rectangular box. And then I took a triangle of the same color in order to get it to look like this little slanted element here, I guess you should say. And I did the same with white. The white is a simple white box that I then also made a triangle of to make the slanted elements at the top there as well. And then of course our logo, which I can drag and drop anywhere. And I did my own look because StreamYard allows you to have your logo in the top right corner, but it's a lot smaller. I wanted it a little bigger, so I don't display the logo in StreamYard. I just have it in this graphic that's constantly overlaid on top of our faces.
Can you do masking in Canva?
What do you mean by masking? Just so I'm make sure we're on the same page.
So in other words, make a section of a photograph transparent, see-through, block it out.
Sort of. It's a little. I'll have to show you what it can do, but showing this is the outro screen we currently have for our lives now. It's going to change all the time, but basically, you can see I have like this little animated subscribe icon here. This is an element. It's just an animated like graphic that you can use over and over again. But what I did was I made 3 of them because I wanted it to loop through 3 different elements, because as it plays now, it's too short and I wanted it to be a little long. So I did 3 different screens that they're all the same thing. And then I downloaded it as an MP4 video. And then I chose all 3 of those screens. And what it's going to do is it's going to loop through the first one, and then the second one, and then the third one. And then that's as long as I wanted my outro screen to be. And then the live is over. But it still animates that subscribe all over again. And it still plays this little MP3 that I've got down here at the bottom, which I'm not sure you'll be able to hear. Yeah, you might not be able to hear it through the Zoom the way it's set up. But I have a little steel guitar MP3 that I can adjust and play and trim if I need to in Canva. But that's how I did our outro and our lives, if that makes any sense at all. But you mentioned masking. So there are things that you can do in order to cut out backgrounds. It's actually one of my favorite features of Canva because it's so easy to do. So let's try, for example, we'll do a quick Instagram post of something. And I know I've done this tons for my clients, but let me take a look. There was somebody. So here's a sort of client. It's a friend of mine that I network with. And it's a logo that has a white background, which limits me to only using stuff with white backgrounds, which I didn't want to do. Canva has this effect called background remover that is really easy, that it basically discovers what needs to be removed automatically. Most of the time, I would say 95% of the time, it's perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and click it, and it's going to get rid of that background. So it's just the blue now. You'll notice here on the left, though, it does have the option to erase or restore. Like if there was something that got taken out that you didn't want. So if I go in here and hit the restore button, maybe adjust my size of my little brush. Maybe I wanted the white to be in that little star thing here. I can go in here and restore it just in that star and hit done. So now that star still has the white inside of it, but that's pretty much the extent of what they have available for masking, like taking out and removing things. If you do a background remover and then you can do restore or continue to remove certain elements, you could do it that way, but that's kind of the limit. That's where Photoshop really comes in handy, because you can sit and really drill down by the pixel and remove elements if you had to. Does that kind of answer your question?
Well, yeah, sort of. I mean, it doesn't appear to me that it really has any type of masking capabilities as I
Yeah.
understand masking, but
Yeah, it's just basic background remover. If
and
you needed it,
maybe
but
I
that's
should
it.
have prefaced that with, you know, think of a video editing program where you're masking out a portion of the video to see through it.
Oh no, I don't think you can do that in this. I haven't tried to do that in the video here, so yeah, I don't think that's something that you can do. But let me go back to the freeware version, because I do want to do the banner, because that's something that, I mean, I like to change my banners seasonally. I think I did like a Halloween banner. I did a Christmas banner, Thanksgiving banner. So I like to change them out seasonally, but
Okay, let me just jump in here again a second. Never enough time.
Sure.
I understand what you're saying about the transparency on the photo, and that's really not what I'm talking about here. And I'm sure that there's probably a transparency in Canva, Crystal, isn't there?
yeah, you can do.
You can do
I'll show you as
transparency.
an example.
But when I say transparency, I mean just literally you're not changing the transparency, you're just creating a hole in the in the surface, if you will, so you can see behind it.
So you do have transparency capabilities in here. Like say you have this goat photo, but maybe you wanted it to be a little darker. So I'm going to make the background behind it black. And I've stretched the photo to kind of fit over the box. And then you have this ability to kind of make it a little more transparent and bring that black through if you wanted it to be not so bright. I mean, you have that capability, but that's about, and that does work for video too. So let's say I did find a video. Let's see. We'll get rid of this goat real quick and put this.
Are there various blending modes in the attributes?
No,
Okay.
it's pretty basic. So I have this goat video here running. I can go up here and make it transparent so it's a little darker. That black behind is showing through. If I want the text to show up a little more and it's too bright as is, especially if it's white text, these are white goats, then putting a black background behind it, you can see that black background, and then making the video transparent, that's an easy solution for that. But I'm just checking the comments real quick. Everybody's cold, what it looks like. I feel bad for all our people that are in the cold right now. So Facebook banners, or not Facebook, YouTube banners. So I uploaded this photo because I wanted to keep it available for when we do these kinds of tutorials. This is basically what YouTube looks at for your channel banners at the top. The white square is everything that you want visible on all platforms. So if you want it to be able to drill down to a mobile phone where they can still see everything, you want it within this white box. The gray would be the tablet, the darker gray would be your desktop Max. And then if, like for me, I watch a lot of you guys on my TV, then I would see the whole thing, the whole big box. But you want all of the really important stuff within, and Daryl goes over this all the time in his Thursday night tutorials or channel reviews, I guess. So you want everything within this little white box. I keep this graphic handy at all times for when I want to create our own channel art. So I make sure I'm not going outside of that box. So for example, let's delete this one. I'm actually going to duplicate this because I want to keep this available up here for reference. But here, I'm going to make it a little transparent so that I can still design over top of it, and then I can delete this graphic later. This is just as like a pinpoint for me to know where to put stuff. So the biggest thing that I focus on first is my background for what I want in my channel art. Usually for us, because we're a homesteader, we like to choose like wood, or especially like blue wood. Like here, I'll do a search real quick for blue wood, because you know that we use a lot of teal in our artwork. And like this is one I use frequently. It's just kind of like this old battered up wood. Now it says remove watermarks because it is not a free graphic. I can use it on my pro version, or I can purchase it one time. I'll show you what it looks like when you try to purchase here in a second. But I'm going to go ahead and stretch this out to be the full background of what I'm trying to do. Now I can also make it a little transparent so I can see that little outline of where I want to keep my text when I do this banner. I don't want anything to go out of here that needs to be seen on all devices. So I got my blue wood, and oh, I think I accidentally deleted that background. So there we go. So now I can see where I need to put my text. Now, when I mentioned that you can buy a graphic one time on the free version, on the pro version, you can use it as many times as you want, but you'll see here when I go to download it, it says, well, you have one premium image, which means it's a pro image. I can buy it for $1. Now you can download a free watermark draft that you don't pay for just to make sure it looks right on your channel before you actually go and purchase it, but you can buy these $1 images and on the free version and still use it. So it's still a cheaper alternative. If you just want to use one image and you don't want to pay for the pro version of Canva, it's still worth it to buy the $1 image if you know it's one that you're going to keep and use over and over. So
That's what's going to be my next question. Can you get more than one use out of it?
I think so. I think they changed it so you could. I think it used to. I remember when you couldn't. You would have to pay for it each time. I'm like, well, that's dumb. I already paid for it. So I think they did update that so that you don't have to do that. But I'd verify that first. What is down under saying never noticed crystal? Oh, with the blue stuff? Yes. All right, so we've got our background. Now I want to figure out what I want to say. So I might want my logo. I don't think I have my logo uploaded to the free version here. So maybe I'll just put an image in here like a goat. So I'm going to search under elements for some clip art of a goat because I want it to be more animated, not an actual picture of a goat. I don't have one of those available right now anyway. So I'm just going to find a goat that I like. I'm going to choose this fun one here because he's kind of cute and animated. Now he's a little big and outside of my area that I want right now. So I'm going to shrink him down just by dragging the corners so that now he fits within the little white box that YouTube requires for all devices. So there's my little goat. And then maybe I want a chicken too because we have lots of chickens. So I'm going to search for chicken. Oh, and here's a cute little chicken. So I got all these little cartoony animals here now. Maybe I want that on the left side here. Now I got a goat and chicken. What was that cartoon in
I think your goat needs to move over.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. I think I missed the line. Yeah, so there's a little divider there. I didn't miss that one though. There we go. So I got my goat and my chicken, and now I need to put some text in the middle here. So let's find some text. I'm just going to go ahead and add some plain text for now and put Copper Kettle Farms. Obviously that's too big as it is right now, but we can shrink it down either by using the button up there or grabbing a corner and shrinking it down and then squeezing it in the middle here. There we go. Now I can mess with it and maybe choose something fun for a font. There's one called Clicker Script. That's kind of fun. It doesn't really stand out as much as the bolder fonts, but I think it's still kind of cute. We'll see what it looks like when all said and done. So I'm going to take my blue background and I'm going to get rid of the transparency because now we're going to see what this looks like. Now these crosshairs are going to be gone in the pro version. It's just that's the watermark if you don't own the image yet. So trying to imagine this without those crosshairs, I think that the font's a little too thin because there's just a lot going on this wood. So it kind of takes away from the wording. So we probably want something that is a little bit more bold. Maybe something like this. Now I'll have to drag it down a little bit more. But I think this would make it stand out a little more. When you have a lot going on in the background that you have to compete with, you want something either a little bit more bold or make a more simple background that doesn't have a lot of things kind of distracting with all this wood here. So I can put my name in here. And then we're going to actually download the watermarked version. So I'm not going to pay for the image right now. And we're going to see what it looks like on a channel. But this could be an easy channel art. Now let's say you have a really loud background. So I've got that one. Actually, I downloaded all of them. I just wanted to download page 2. So let's do that again real quick. Let's say you have a really loud background, but you want certain elements that need to stand out more, and you don't want it to be so bright in the background. One of the tricks that I usually do is, so let me get a loud photo real quick. Something like herbs. Maybe something like this. So there's a lot going on in this background, and it's going to take away from a lot of things that you have going on in your photo. So what I would do is you could either make it transparent, or if you don't want to, if you really want, let me get rid of this blue real quick. If you really want it to be that bright for as much as possible, what I usually do is I'll go into elements, and you can go down to shapes. You get all kinds of different shapes here. This is where you can get your triangles, circles, and things like that. I'll usually add a square, and then I'll stretch it out to the edge, and then I'll bring it down a little. Well, I want to get it behind my goat and chicken real quick. Did I not get it in front of my chicken? Did I lose my chicken? Might have lost my chicken. Oh, there's my chicken. So where's my goat? There we go. Okay. And I want to make it a little thin. So it's just covering up the text here. And maybe I want it to be the red like this. What I would do is make it a little transparent. Because what it's going to do is to kind of mute out the colors of the herbs behind these graphics.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then I can download that version. And we'll kind of compare the two. I'm going to download the free version just to see what it looks like first before I invest in buying that photo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into a YouTube account. I think just one of my small personal ones just to show you guys what it looks like. Yeah, this is the one I usually log into. So this is just a generic channel. We did the banner tutorial last time on here, so it still has the old one. But I'm going to try both of these just to see what they look like. And we're going to change our banner image. We're going to select this first one, which was the blue, which I love the blue. And then it'll tell you here what's viewable on what device. So this is viewable on all devices. My perfect little square that I highlighted with that YouTube graphic, and then what it'll look like on everything else. We'll hit done. I'll publish it. And then let's see what it looks like. I'll have to refresh though. Or did I not save it? Oh, there we go. I had to clear my cache while I did. So this is my banner. It'll look right on all screens, mobile phones, TVs. The TV will obviously see the whole big thing, but this stands out pretty well. Now you will see the watermarks because I didn't pay for this image, but if I did, these watermarks and that word Canva would not be there. So it would just be the blue. If that makes any sense. Now I'm going to try the second one that we created with the herbs that has that muted bar behind our text. So let me go in here. We'll grab that one. Again, you can see where it highlights everything. Oh, looks like I put the blue bars pretty accurate where I needed it. And then we're going to publish that one. And now you have that. So you're still going to see the herbs. They're a little bit more muted. On other devices, you're going to see, like on the television, you'll see the whole thing. But again, it lets the text stand out more when you don't have all of that really right in the background, if that makes any sense. So that's how you would do channel art. It's very easy to do. It's just, you pretty much you don't have a lot of limits on what you can do. It's just the amount of creativity that you really want to put into it. So you can use your photos, you can use their artwork and put little cute goats and chickens in it and change it out every now and then. I really like doing the seasonal stuff. And if you've got something new going on, like where you've got this huge shed conversion thing going on right now, so maybe I'll change the graphics to that on our channel. I don't know. But that's how you do simple banner art. It's really helpful for the banner art to have a graphic like this available, so you know where to put your logo and your text, because obviously you want that to be within the area that's viewable everywhere.
Okay, a couple more questions here for you.
Sure.
In creating a solid color, say for like this reddish stripe that you're going across, can you do a two-color, a gradient stripe?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do that with the fonts, outline, and/or shadowing, or both.
Yes. Let's see what effects are in the free version. Again, because I'm always in the paid version, so I never remember what's necessarily paid versus free. But you do get, under effects, the ability, and I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, to do different text effects. So for this one, maybe I wanted it to be white text, but maybe I wanted like a thing underneath, a shadow underneath of it. Now by default, it's going to choose the color of the font. So you can see it already has a subtle, if I do none, it takes it off. But if I do shadow, it puts like a very subtle, I guess, drop shadow underneath of it that's white. But you can make it black. You can see how it's kind of made it darker. You can change how much of a blur it is. If you don't want it to be so much of a line, you want it to be more like a shadow, you can blur it out more. Kind of hard to see here. And then how far away you want it to be, whether it's just slightly underneath the lettering, or if you want it to be far away from the lettering. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can kind of see the drastic change. Well, let me select it. There we go. So for offset, you can see how it's dragging the shadow closer and closer to the letter here, and then further away. So it depends on how offset from the lettering you want it to be. Whether you want it to be underneath like it is now, or you can spin it around to be to the left, or you can have it be on the top. So really just kind of spins around however you want that drop shadow to show. I usually like it underneath, but over top's kind of cool too. And then how transparent do you want it to be? Right now it's about half. So remember, we chose the color black. This doesn't really look that black. It looks kind of like a dark maroon because it's pulling that red that's behind it beneath the black. Now, if I took the transparency away completely, then it's a true black. It's like a real black. I kind of like the idea of it bringing in the color from behind a little bit, making it more like a maroon and not so in your face. So I'll probably keep the transparency in the middle there. So you do have that type of text effect. You also have, lift is more like it's hard to see on this one because of the white, but it kind of just adds like a glow behind it, I guess is what I would call it. You also have the ability to hollow out your text if you want it to be hollowed out in the center, but it still follows the outlines of the text around it. For this one, it's a little weird. I probably wouldn't use it because you see how it kind of crosses over the letters here because it's supposed to be cursive. So I probably wouldn't use hollow for this font. You can use really any blocky font would do really well with that, with the outlines. So if you wanted to outline, you could do that. Going back in, you have splice. This kind of like basically duplicates your, I guess it's like the outline and then the font underneath of it. They call it splicing. I don't really know what else you would call it, but you can see you have the option to change the color of the lettering behind it, behind the hollowed out lettering. So if I wanted to make that black, I mean, I don't really use this one that much. I don't really like it that much, but you could certainly maybe make it a darker red. That would look kind of cool. Darker red behind it, and then you have the white outline. Again, I wouldn't use this for anything that hollows out with a cursive font because you're going to get this weird extra layer in there. The same with Echo. It's like multiple layers of the same font and text underneath. This one's kind of cool. It's almost like I don't know, it kind of looks ghostly to me. It's neat, but and then you can change the direction of that as well. You can't really change the color on this as easily though. It's kind of like it's multiple layers, but you choose one color and then it selects what the third layer or the second layer underneath is based off of that. So it's got some limits to it. And then you got some really like vibrant type stuff. So you can have, this one kind of reminds me of like the 80s when you have, I guess, that neon font or maybe like 3D font in the movie theaters or something like that. So I've used it before when I do retro stuff. I don't really use it for this, but it kind of adds that 3D brightness behind the lettering. Neon I actually really like. I love using the neon. It takes the color of your font and just makes it look like it's a neon sign. And you can make it more intense or less intense. But I like this one a lot. It's better when you use like a color. So if I were to use like pink, you can kind of see it's, let me go back in here. It just kind of makes it look like it's a neon sign. I guess it's kind of hard to see with the pink behind it, but it's a really cool effect. I do like that one. And then the last one, they recently added the ability to have curved text. So let me change the color back to white here for this text, but now you can have curved text. So if that's something if you have something underneath of it that you want, like a sigil of some sort, you can curve your text, which is nice. And you can change how much it curves. So almost a complete circle. I guess it is a complete circle if you have enough text to warrant it. And you can go the other way as well. But you do have the ability to do that now, which is kind of fun. But those are all the text effects they have for your text. You can do all kinds of fonts and colors, but those are the effects that you can have. And again, they're very easy and quick to do. It's not like you're trying to use Photoshop and use all these different elements to get the same thing. It's just point and click, which is what I like about it.
Okay, and something else I'm sure that a lot of people are going to wonder. They've seen people that make these thumbnails that the colors are more bold than what they should be, but they jump out at you.
Oh, so like a photo that looks like it's been photoshopped, kind of like to bring out more colors?
Yeah, in other words, the saturation has been kicked up 6 notches.
Right.
And I'm sure they have that in here. I'm just...
Yeah, sort of. We'll do an example of that. So let me find a photo real quick that maybe we would want to enhance the colors on. We'll do something landscapey like mountains or something. So maybe something like this. It's a plain photo of some mountains. It's still very pretty as it is. Doesn't really need photo enhancement, but you do have the ability to do that kind of stuff. So this is basically under filters, and it has pre-built-in filters. And there's a couple other options you can do too, but these are the basics where it's like you would consider a Snapchat filter or an Instagram filter. So if you wanted this to kind of stand out a little more, maybe you'll use something like festive, and that adds a little bit of a brightness to it. You do have the ability to change the intensity of that, but this kind of whitewashes out the clouds, so I probably wouldn't use that for this one. Summer, it looks like it gives it kind of like a warm, like a yellowish tone, which is attributed to warm, whereas blue is attributed to cold and in photography, I guess. So trying to find one that would really bring out more of the colors without whitewashing it too much.
No, Courtney, I don't think I said I was a seagull.
Are you a seagull now?
Well, that's
Darren,
Darren.
not
Okay.
Daryl.
All right. Too far away. Too far
Yeah,
away.
it does have a couple different options you can try to bring out some color in it. It's not going to be as good as Photoshop. If you use Photoshop, I can tell you one of that you can get things like actions that automatically put different effects on photos. I've used them quite a bit. And I don't know if Robin from Big Bear's in here. I know she's not a huge fan of Pioneer Woman, but she has a couple actions that I've used quite frequently when doing photo editing when I was used to do photography that provide a really easy way to add color to photos as well. So this is similar to like actions in Photoshop, if you're familiar with Photoshop. But you do have the ability to do a little bit of photo editing. It's just, I mean, it's limited.
I'm going to guess this question here is for you. Crystal says, how do you find that? Every time I try it, it wants money.
They want the free version.
So for somebody here just to go use the free version, and every time they go into the site, it's going, buy me, buy me, buy me. And you're not having that issue.
Well, right now, everything I've showed so far is in the free version. So I mean, there are limits on what you can do. If they're asking her to download photos, then you would have to limit yourself to free ones or ones that you upload. If she can kind of highlight what it's trying to get her to download or pay for, but everything so far that I've done or shown you guys outside of when we logged into my pro version for a moment there is done in the free version. So I'm trying to think of the only thing I could think of that might be difficult is see how this one's a pro photo. I would have to pay to use this one because it has the watermarks on here. But like this one was free. I don't have to pay for this one. And this one's free. This one's gorgeous. This is like my dream home right here. I would love this. So this is a free photo. So I wouldn't have to pay
I
for
don't
that.
remember seeing those kind of mountains in Pennsylvania, though.
I know we have the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, they're still pretty, but this is something I would have to go visit Quebec Homestead or something.
Speak of the devil.
I see her in here.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you were my shout out Sunday, Mallory. Just letting you know. Yes, the paid version is definitely. If you use this frequently enough, if you put out enough videos, and you do graphics on your social media, if you want to start using TikTok and you don't want to mess with figuring out sizes in Photoshop or figuring out a whole program or even downloading a bulky program and using up your computer resources, it's worth it for $12 a month, to be quite honest, to me. Now, if you're only going to use it once a month, probably not. But again, it's a program that's meant to be easy on your resources, easy to use, and they're constantly updating it. So it's not like you're just stuck with what it's got now. I mean, the curved text was never available until recently. So,
Well, they've made it so much better. I mean, 6-7 years ago, I probably would have had zero interest in it.
yeah, and I really like some of the elements that they have. Like, let me go ahead and these frames. I use these quite frequently too. Frames are basically a way to display a photo in like an artistic way. Let's say like a cell phone. Let's do this cell phone real quick. Let's say we do want this mountain photo, but maybe we want to show a picture of us on top of it. Like this is part of our thumbnail. So in this, where it has the cloud and the little landscape, any photo that you drag in here is going to basically format automatically to this. You don't have to cut anything like you would in Photoshop. You don't have to do layers in Photoshop. We're just going to pick a picture of a person, like a Viking, because actually what's his name's in here. So let's pick a Viking photo. We'll do a free one. I can drag this photo in here and automatically throws it into the cell phone. So automatically I've got a cool photo of something in a cell phone over top of this beautiful landscape. And I could easily, if this was like a thumbnail, I could then put some text on top of it saying, let's go like the mountains or something. Maybe make that some white text. We'll do some kind of playful font of some sort. We want it to be larger. maybe italic. Does this one have italic? No. And then do some sort of effect on it because it's a lot of white on here. Maybe I want to do a glow. Maybe I won't do white. Maybe I'll do, maybe not red, not blue for sure, because that's too much blue in that photo already. So we'll go ahead and stick to white. And maybe instead of the glow, we'll just do a shadow. We'll want the shadow to be black underneath. I want it to be a little blurred. I don't want it transparent at all because there's a lot behind here distracting. But we could do something like that. Let's go Vike the mountains. And then we've got this Viking drinking and we've got the mountains behind it. So it's very quick and easy. I love the elements for that, especially the frames, because any of these frames, even if it's just like, if you want to do paint stripes, like let's put some paint stripes. And I use this one frequently on our channel. You probably recognize it if you've ever seen anything on our channel. And we can drag a different photo in that paint stripe and it automatically cuts it out.
Okay.
To fit in there.
I think it's Mallory is saying that the reason she chose to go with Pro is for the PNG file. So in the free version, can you not download PNG?
You can download PNG, but you can't do the transparent. You can see here that it has the crown next to it. That means that you have to have the Pro version. And the transparent, for something like this thumbnail, you don't need it. But let's say you have, I'm trying to think. Trying to think of an example. So when I showed you earlier the overlay that we do on our StreamYard where it has our name at the top, that you can't download that to be a transparent image without the Pro version. So that was one of the main reasons that I went with the Pro version as well, is because if you want something that is going to, let me show you as an example. Let's say I wanted to do a logo design or something. So let me think.
Well, and with all credit going to Canva, they make the program quite good, very well, and they make it so that you can do some fabulous things with it until you decide I just want this little more, and you wind up having to buy it to get that little extra.
Right. So let's say this was your brand logo. It was just like a piece of tape with your name on it. Like, I don't know, just as an example. If I wanted to download this in the free version, it's going to download it with this white box around it. Nothing I can do about it. If you have the Pro version, you'll download it. It'll still be the size of this white box, but it'll only show the text and the strip here. This white won't show. So then you could overlay that on top of like a blue background, a black background, and it doesn't show any of that white. So that's the important thing with the Pro version, is being able to download transparent PNG files that you can then overlay on top of something else and not have this ugly white background next to it, if that makes sense. So Quebec, that's one of the best things about Canva having the Pro version, is the ability to do that, if that makes sense. Does anybody else have anything they want to see if Canva can do for them? I know we did the end screens at one point. We could certainly set up another time and do like outro videos, like at the end of your lives or something.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be best. We've actually been here a little while.
Yeah, I think we've been on an hour. So I will go ahead and stop sharing. And then
if any of you want to know, have a question, the thumbnail tonight's thing was not done with Canva. It was done with Paint.net, free version. So, and
there's a lot of good things you can do with the free version of stuff.
And the graphics were all stolen from Crystal.
I actually paid someone on Fiverr to do that artwork of me. So I wanted something that I could use in my professional sphere if I wanted. He did a pretty good job. Yeah. I really wanted to emphasize my gray hair in it. I don't know if he got that though.
Well, I thought it came out very nice.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had to do a couple tricks to put it on the background. I did, but.
Yeah. I do say that Mama Z wants me to show how to do the overlay. Do you mind if I do that really
No,
quick?
no, go ahead.
I'm going to do that in my pro version because to do an overlay, you have to have the pro version in order to get that transparent image that we were talking about. So let me grab what screen my pro version was on, and I'll share that real quick. Okay. So this is the pro version. And the reason I have this as a black background now is because of this white element here, Misty. I wanted to be able to see where it ended and began. If I did this with a white background, I wouldn't really be able to see that. See what I'm saying there? So the black is just a way for me to see all of the edges of everything. So if I were to do another overlay, like something for Mama Z's Texas Kitchen, most people, I think, probably put their name on the top because StreamYard, a lot of your banners and your quotes from your comments show up at the bottom. So we did ours at the top here. Now for you, I know you have your own logo. So I'm just going to kind of mimic stuff for you really quick. Let's say, I know you've got like your Texas flag. So let's use this as an example of maybe this is your logo. So that would be on the top corner. And then you want some sort of thing that has your name. Now you have to keep in mind that when you are in a live, there's a whole bunch of things going on in the background. Like for us, we've got our wall of pictures of my dad's stuff behind us. So if I were to just put text with nothing behind it, it would probably be drowned out by whatever's behind me. And I know you do a lot of your lives in the kitchen. So you're going to have your kitchen behind you at all times too. And it could be black surfaces, white surfaces that would drown out your text. So I definitely would encourage some form of background. I'm just going to use some shapes for this right now. So maybe just like a strip that goes across the top. Make it a little narrow because you don't want it to cut off your head or anything, but I think mine's pretty thin, so I'm going to make yours a little thinner as well and drag this Texas flag to be a little thin as well. And I'm not sure what color you would probably put up here. You would probably do like a red of some sort, maybe not that bright, but like a darker red. Actually, it doesn't grab the Texas one, so we're just going to kind of guesstimate this Texas red here really quick, something like that. And then you just put whatever you want in that block. So for example, if you wanted it to say Mama Z's Texas Kitchen, I know at some point you'll have a website. I don't think you have one right now, but you could certainly put like your social media in here like we did at the top. We did icons for each. I'm not sure why the Twitter one's not showing right now, but it's there. It's there when I download it. The names of our social media, our names at the top. So maybe you want it to say Misty Mama Z or something, and change out your font however you want it to be. I don't know what kind of fonts you like, but there's tons out there to try out. So you basically want to set up your elements of what you want overlaid over your videos while you're live on StreamYard, and then you're going to download a PNG version, but you want to make sure it's transparent. And yours is page 2, so I'm going to go ahead and download page 2. And while this is downloading, oh, it didn't take long at all. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to unshare and reshare just to show it really quick because, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, this is obviously not exactly what you're going to do or what it's going to look like, but you don't see that black in the background anymore. It's just the bar at the top and then the flag. Everything else is transparent. So once you get that set up the way that you want it, everything displays the way that you want it, you simply go into StreamYard. I guess I can show you real quick how I do it. Let me log into StreamYard really quick. I know I'm doing a lot of weird shares here, so. StreamYard. So in my StreamYard, I'm going to create a broadcast. This isn't going to go live or anything yet, but hopefully it doesn't conflict with Zoom too much. I don't think it will. All right. So when you're in your brand section, this is what ours looks like. You can see how it kind of overlays over whatever's in the background like this. So what I would do is upload yours, which I'm going to stick on here really quick. Did I not download the transparent version? I might not have. Oh, no, I did. So now I've got yours on there. So I can switch between yours and mine, but it'll have that displayed at the top at all times. Now, obviously, you want to make it look prettier and all of that, but it's very easy to do that, and then you don't have to have the names at the bottom. I turned that off on my StreamYard. I don't think that's the setting. Maybe it's just the brand. Yeah, I turned off show display names because it's just me and Donald. Now, if I have other people off, I'll probably turn the display names back on. So then it'll show the names at the bottom. But for our lives, I just do the overlay here, and then I don't have to worry about it. And that gives it it makes it look a little nicer and a little more branded, which I like. So hopefully that answers your question.
How close are you to your 4,000 hours?
I'm less than 1,000 now. Let me double check. I know when I checked yesterday, it was less than 1,000. So we did a little bit of a live stream today. We're doing the live goat streams now.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was really windy out and it kept knocking it over. So we're going to, since Donald's off for 2 weeks, we're going to do some more goat streams and put out some videos this week. But if I log in right now, it says it's still less than 1,000. It's like at 980 left before we get monetized. Something like that. Maybe a little less than that. But we're getting closer. It was just 2,000 when we first hit the monetization mark, so we're getting there.
Good. Yeah, I've been running them.
I appreciate it.
All right. Now that I'm looking over your shoulder, thank you so much for coming on here tonight. Donald, thank you for letting her come out and play.
Yeah, thanks, Donna, for letting me come play. You want to say hi real quick? He's been watching on his phone.
They
so.
were playing in their shed today.
Yeah, we set up the heater in the shed today, and it looks awesome. I can't wait to show you guys the final product, but we still don't have electricity. They have to do a new panel in the garage because it's still the glass penny fuses, which I told them I didn't want those anymore. I didn't feel like that was safe. So
If they were playing, I wouldn't think they'd need a heater.
yeah. Well, it's not as cold here as it is in Texas right now, but
Thorhaven Farm wants to know where your cool hat is.
oh, I saved those for our lives, but yeah, I'm going to eventually run out of cool hats. Although Donald's been looking on Amazon to buy me some more cool hats to wear for our lives. People really liked my one hat, so I just started wearing them now for the lives just to give people something to talk about.
Any last questions for Crystal? If so, get them in here right now.
Mallory says, you're so supportive, Donald. Yeah, we'll set up some more tutorials. There's an endless amount of things that we can do. I mean, even beyond social media and beyond YouTube, T-shirt designs you can send to family to have printed for you. I mean, it's endless. I use Canva to make ebooks. I mean, you can do ebooks in Canva. Or not even just ebooks. You can make books that you send off to like lulu.com and have self-printed. So, I mean, it's an amazing program.
Sherry, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, well, very special thank you, Crystal. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Special thank you to our moderators. Extra special thank you to those folks that are members of Smudge's Pack. And with that, we'll see you all Thursday. Take care, everyone. Good night.